Hi there, this is Katy Groves, and in this video I'm just going to be giving an integration update. Some extremely difficult things happened in the last couple days with my integration process, yesterday and the day before, where Lilith was trying to integrate with Katy, and parts from other systems who we no longer call inner programmers, but simply angry and controlling young parts that have and know how to use certain programming tools, were assaulting Lilith with said programming tools and Katy, trying to prevent Lilith from integrating. They were desperate to control us and keep me and Lilith separate. We went through 2 days, one day in particular, yesterday, of extreme torture. Literal torture. As these parts used the tools in their disposal to try and get us to split. They put Lilith in splitting factories inside, exponentially fragmenting her, or attempting to at least, and tortured her physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. They flooded her with trauma, with callback directives, and suicide directives. This was extremely painful, something that we deal with from time to time when parts make more progress than those who are anti-progress in the system support or are able to handle. We have a lot of deals worked out with inner parts about moving forward in our healing process in certain systems while they themselves do not, while they themselves work more slowly, while they remain in their pain, in their separation. But sometimes parts push the boundaries of this too far in trying to heal, and there's a backlash. Like I said, I no longer view the parts that retaliated as inner programmers, because I see them more deeply for what they are, which are parts of ourselves using manipulation and control to try and keep us dissociative so that they can get needs met that they think can only be met with programming. After going through extremely intense trauma yesterday, we were able to go to sleep eventually, and when we woke up out of extremely painful dreams, processed dreams that caused us a lot of grief, but also brought us deeply in touch with Lilith and Katy, with those parts of ourselves, and connected us to the whole, the part of us that was us before we were programmed, core parts. And now it appears I've switched into the alters that were trying to stop the integration from happening. This is Katy speaking here, just interrupting, noticing that it happened, so I'm going to let them continue, but I apologize for the sudden switch. So yeah, like I was saying, the dreams we had really brought us in touch. The processing we did in the night really brought us in touch with the dissociative parts that we're trying to integrate, and with the core part of us that connects to them, and we realized that we needed to let them go. We needed to let these parts integrate and heal, that it was not our business to control them. We realized that we were wrong in our behavior, and we had to let them do what they needed to do and move forward. And we ourselves are now moving forward in certain parts. We still have blocks, but we, the so-called former programmer parts, are moving forward in our integration and healing too. We're really appalled and baffled by our behavior towards these parts. We don't know what we were thinking. We were under some kind of control. So we let these parts merge, and Katy woke up in integration with Lilith. And while there are parts of Lilith's polyfragmented system that are now still intact and separate to some degree, core parts of Lilith have now integrated with Katy, no longer exist as Lilith. They simply are Katy. So we are extremely grateful for this. We don't even know what to say. Like I said, we realized that we were wrong to try and control them, keep them separate. We truly didn't understand what DID was. We didn't understand what integration was. We didn't know what was going on. If we tried to explain what we thought was happening, it would sound ridiculous. And I think that's kind of how things are with programming. The dissociative parts who are programmed, often what they think is happening is totally and completely different from what's happening. In that, they think the alters in the system are separate people. I'm not saying that they're delusional exactly or insane. It's just programmed alters, they often think they've been tricked into believing that things are happening differently than they are. They've been manipulated by handlers, by programmers. So for us, we were just manipulated, and we just didn't know what we were doing. But now we understand, and we're terribly sorry, and we are now advocates for Lilith's system and integrating, and we're now using our knowledge of programming to help Lilith integrate. And Katy just wants to say, I just want to say that this is an example of how the deprogramming process can go, how the integration process can go from polyfragmented DID, that dissociative parts who were once torturing others blindly, not understanding the harm they were causing, can wake up to the control, understand that their alters are alters and deserve to be empathized with, stop the abusive behavior, come out of their programming, and then become deprogrammers for the system. So programmer parts that once enforced the programming, that held knowledge of the programming, can then wake up out of their programming and use that knowledge to deprogram instead. So I just want to give a shout out to all of our alters in our system and just speak on behalf of them and just express my support for these alters in my system that actually have shifted from once enforcing programming to being some of our best sources of support. So this video is all over the place. We've been switching because we're in flux and integrating a lot. And it really is a big deal for us to stop really using the term inner programmer. We have been using it some in this video because it's a shorthand for what we're trying to say. But really, like we said in the beginning, we've let go of this idea that any part of us has ever been a programmer. We never consented to being programmed, and we didn't understand what programming was when our alters enforced it in the system. I feel like people like my father may be programmers, may really truly be committed to that lifestyle, and even then I can't truly speak for him. I just know that for us, it's not who we are, and so we're letting go of that label. I'm switching into Katy now. I've been switching back between different parts a lot. As Katy's more kind of, sorry, I can't say what I was about to say. I was going to name an alter that my system didn't want me to name. As Katy, I'll just say that, I'm finding it difficult to cope with Lilith's trauma. She has unfathomable trauma. Yesterday, one of the things we had to do to come out of the attempted reprogramming from some of our alters who were attacking us was to go through what created Lilith, the splits in Lilith that we're trying to heal. There are many deeper splits in her that still haven't healed, but the splits that we were trying to heal, that cause the alters who were trying to integrate, we had to walk back through that trauma and relive it very deeply on some of our worst trauma imaginable. But we are finding ourselves coming in touch with these core parts much more deeply now, and remembering that every time we walk through trauma, every time we go through the trauma and actually relive it and heal it, we come out on the other side so much healthier. Even though it takes us some time to recover, we feel so much toxicity, so much sickness in our body all the time because we've not yet healed even most of our trauma. And every time we do heal a little trauma, we free up a little bit more of ourselves. We release the dissociative parts that were holding the trauma, and we release the negative energy that we were carrying. And while we haven't yet spoken to anyone about the traumas we recovered from Lilith yesterday, they were partly traumas we knew about, but some of the details, some of the actual images we hadn't yet received. We haven't told anyone about them, what was in them yet, but we have talked about traumas like it in bits and pieces, and it's helped. So we know we're capable, and we know that it is healing. We're just not ready to go there on this level yet. Another part wants to say something. Hi, I'm Katy. I'm another part of Katy. I just want to say that we've been doing a lot of grounding exercises today, and yesterday we got through a lot of our difficulties with those other parts by doing grounding, and we're finding it much easier to ground now that we've integrated with these core parts of Lilith. It is amazing. We finally feel capable of really doing healing techniques. In the last week, we've seen a lot of breakthroughs in other systems, but in this last day or two, we're seeing them in ours. And we have fought so hard to get here. We have fought so hard to be able to get in touch with the present moment, to really truly connect and feel calm. And while I'm extremely anxious right now because there's a part of us that's really not comfortable with the things we're saying, just kind of tugging on us inside and saying, please stop, don't reveal ourselves to anybody, I myself have been feeling a lot calmer. I'm another part of Katy, and I'd also like to say something about that, the part inside that doesn't want us to share. We have a lot of parts that aren't comfortable with this channel and what we do here, especially with the last few videos we've made that we call video therapy. That's brought a lot of shit up in our system that's been really hard to deal with. We take inner boundaries seriously, but we have the parts who think their boundaries are for us to not share anything. And so we have to go against that. We can't keep everything in. And this channel has clearly been a good thing for us and a good thing for other people. At least some people who've expressed support to us say it's been a good thing. So we don't think that we have done the wrong thing by speaking out, but we do want to say that it does cause us a lot of pain sometimes when we share certain things that parts aren't comfortable with in particular, and it's something we're dealing with right now. We're hopefully going to be making more purely analytical deprogramming videos that aren't just us going on about our process like we are right now. But right now we're going through such an intense time with inner processing and deprogramming, we've decided that because we don't really feel able to make the more informative videos, we're just going to make these right now. And as soon as we come through the other side of this particular process, we will make some more deprogramming series videos and things like that soon. Thanks.